Most traders listen to charts, but few ever listen to themselves. We study candles, patterns, systems, yet ignore the signals coming from within. The first alarm protects your account. The second protects your awareness. One tells you when your trade is wrong, the other tells you when you are. This isn't about timing the market, it's about timing your mind. Because every great trader knows the market doesn't test your skill, it tests your self-control. In this episode of Mind Over Markets, we explore the system professionals use to stay conscious under chaos. Not a setup, not a secret formula, but a mental alarm system that rings before the mistake. This is the two-alarm system, and it might be the last psychological upgrade you ever need. I used to think I could control the market, that if I just studied enough, learned it enough, practiced enough, I could anticipate every move before it happened. I thought mastery meant certainty, but over time I realized mastery means awareness. And awareness begins when you hear the first alarm. The first alarm isn't mystical, it's practical. It's the one most traders know, the stop loss, the invalidation point, the level that says if the market goes here, my idea is wrong. That's the first alarm, the market alarm. It's logical, it's rational, it's where your system protects your capital. But here's what I didn't understand. You can have the perfect stop loss and still lose everything. Not because the market was wrong, but because your mind was louder than your plan. I remember the first time I ignored that alarm. The candle moved quickly red, then deeper red, and my stop sat there patiently waiting. I watched the number approach my breathing shallow, my mind whispering, just move it a little lower, give it some room. And I did. A small move, just a few ticks, then another and another. I wasn't trading the setup anymore. I was trading my fear. The first alarm had rung, but I refused to listen, because deep down I didn't want to admit I was wrong. I didn't want to feel the sting of failure. I didn't want to face the emotion underneath the loss. And that's when I realized every trader has two alarms. The first protects your money, the second protects your mind. But most traders never learn to hear the second. The market alarm tells you when your plan has failed. The mind alarm tells you when you are about to fail yourself. The difference is subtle, but it changes everything. The second alarm doesn't sound on your platform. It sounds inside you. It's the tightening of your chest when a trade turns red. It's the voice that says, I need to win this back. It's that sudden rush of heat in your face when you see someone else post their profits online and you feel behind. The second alarm is biological. It's the amygdala, the part of your brain that has kept humans alive for thousands of years. It senses danger before logic arrives. It doesn't understand risk-reward ratios or back tests. It only knows one thing: avoid pain. So when the chart moves against you, your body reacts before your system does. Your palms sweat, your focus narrows, and your higher mind, the rational one that built your plan, goes silent. That's the amygdala hijack. It's what turns traders into gamblers. It's what makes you chase after losses, double down, cancel stops, and call it intuition. But intuition without structure is chaos. The second alarm is there to interrupt that chaos. It doesn't ask you to trade differently. It asks you to pause. When the second alarm rings, it means the trade is no longer about the market, it's about your emotions. And that's the moment a professional separates from an amateur. Because an amateur reacts, a professional recognizes. When my second alarm rings now, I know it's time to breathe. Not the shallow panic breathing, but the kind that slows. The heart loosens the body and widens awareness. I remind myself this is not danger, this is data. The market isn't attacking me, it's simply moving, and I decide whether to move with it or against myself. There's a sacred moment between stimulus and response. That's where all of your power lives. The second alarm exists to remind you of that moment. It's the sound of your awareness returning. It's your mind saying, wait, feel this fully before you act. And every time you honor it, every time you stop, breathe, and observe, you train your nervous system to remain calm in uncertainty. That is how you rewire your trading brain, not by fighting emotion, but by recognizing it before it controls you. The first alarm saves your account. The second alarm saves your career. Building the two-alarm system isn't about perfection. It's about practice. It's about noticing the micro moments when your mouse hovers near the close button, when your heart rate spikes when you want to justify breaking a rule. Those are all alarms, and your response determines your future. I started writing my own list of emotional triggers. Every time I felt the need to act impulsively, I recorded what my body was doing. Sometimes it was tight shoulders, sometimes a subtle frown. Sometimes I realized I wasn't breathing at all. That was my signal, the mind alarm in action. I learned that awareness is a muscle. The more I used it, the stronger it became. At first it felt uncomfortable, like watching myself from the outside, but eventually it became automatic. I could sense when emotion was about to hijack my execution. And instead of reacting, I observed. It's not easy, because silence is uncomfortable. Awareness means seeing your patterns, your fear, your greed, your impatience without flinching. But that's where freedom hides. Trading isn't about prediction. It's about presence. Presence allows you to see what's real instead of what you fear. Presence keeps you aligned with probability, not emotion. Now, before I enter any trade, I prepare two exits, one for the market and one for my mind. If the first alarm rings, the stop executes clean, mechanical, emotionless. If the second alarm rings, I step back, breathe, reset, observe. Sometimes I don't trade for the rest of the day, and that's okay, because mastery isn't doing more. It's reacting less. The pros don't have more courage. They have more awareness. They don't suppress fear. They hear it early. Fear isn't the enemy. It's information. It tells you when the line between focus and obsession is thinning. It tells you when you've drifted from process to impulse. When you learn to treat that fear as feedback, not threat, it transforms. That's when the market slows down. Not literally, but internally. You stop chasing every tick. You start letting the probabilities unfold. And that is where consistency lives. Every trader chases freedom. But real freedom isn't found in profits. It's found in self-control. The two-alarm system isn't a trading strategy. It's a consciousness strategy. It's how you learn to hear yourself before you betray yourself. And that's what separates survival from mastery. So next time the chart turns red and your mind starts shouting louder than your plan, listen carefully. Because somewhere beneath the noise, the second alarm is already ringing. That's your cue, not to act, but to awaken. Because the market will always test your limits, but only awareness will expand them. This is the essence of trading psychology, the quiet discipline beneath the chaos, the pause between emotion and execution, the awareness between loss and learning. That's the two-alarm system. And it's how you protect not just your capital, but your clarity. The market will never stop moving. It doesn't slow down for your emotions. It doesn't care about your fear. But you can. You can pause. You can breathe. You can listen for the alarms that protect your clarity. Because success isn't about outsmarting others. It's about outlasting your impulses. It's about knowing when to act and when to stop yourself from acting. The first alarm saves your account. The second alarm saves your career. And together they build the kind of trader who no longer needs to chase control because he already owns his awareness. The charts will always change. The candles will always burn. But the mind behind the click, that's your true edge. This is mind over markets. where trading ends and transformation begins.